Hi everyone, welcome back to Farrand on Film. I have been joined once again by Ollie. It's like one very grainy picture, one not so grainy picture.
One picture that has ultimately on free Wi-Fi. So thanks to everyone who's just like hacking away at this. Ultimately, I guess.
Everyone else who's like packed outside on the same Wi-Fi downloading stuff on Netflix
Yeah,
because yeah, yeah.
yeah. I've moved
Um,
house though, so that's the important
he's
thing.
moved house. He's in the
He's
new
on the
house.
he's on the property ladder. People of
He's on that
India, I
ladder.
believe, is our popular country, isn't it?
He's on. He's got new digs. We're doing episode 4 reactions, so this one's called "Please Hold My Hand." Apparently, again, I don't know where these episode titles are coming from
Yeah,
because
it's kind of plucked out of thin air, isn't it?
I've not seen reference to any titles or anything since these started coming out. Wikipedia's got a list of all of them apart from the final episode.
They're not
Um,
giving that one away.
no, so I don't know what the plan is there. I don't know what's going on there. But because I did it without you last week, you want to talk about Bill and Frank?
Well, I think it would be nice if I do miss any to just go through the texts that I invariably
Oh,
send
go on.
you.
Yeah, go on, go on, go on.
Because to summarize very quickly my opinions on episode 3, it's one of my favorite episodes of television ever. It
Yeah.
is the greatest love story ever told. I will die on that hill. I was weeping profusely throughout like the entire second half because it went in a completely different direction. I did think they were hint like because the advertising was really clever because it made you think, oh, Frank's getting a bit sick of Bill.
Mm,
Like I do remember thinking, oh, Frank's getting a bit sick of Bill, and it shows Ellie and Joel get there, and you can see the tensions starting between them versus the tensions have erupted.
yeah.
So I started off with Bill is my boy because he just is. I'm pretty sure that was the moment where he was prepping and he made some comment about the government being Nazis, and that's
The government
ignoring.
are Nazis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
not
not
even
back
happened
then.
yet. That's way later. But because this was after that really good transitional shot with um you see the mass grave from where Fedra dumped a lot of
Yes.
people when they couldn't get in, and that was really harrowing. I kind of went in on that later. Frank then won me. I then said Frank is funny. I think he just made the comment of that doesn't sound very long now. Yeah, I've not eaten in 2 days. That doesn't sound very long now that I've said that, does it?
Yeah.
Frank was just hilarious. I wasn't ready for Frank to be like that at all. And then it kind of dawned on me. It's like, oh my god, they're going to go fully gay in this, aren't they? No ambiguity, and obviously they did. And wow. And then I thought, going back to that, fully thought they were going to go down that race route with the idea
Mhm.
that it looked. They certainly focused on a black family
Yeah.
being moved out, and I didn't know if that was something they were going to focus on. They didn't in the end,
Hmm.
but they could have easily done. You messaged me going, "Have you finished the full episode?" I said, "No." Frank's about to piano.
Yeah, because I thought you were texting me like as if you'd just seen the full thing. And
Yeah,
I thought you've not even started yet.
yeah. So then, obviously, I said, and you were like, "Frank's about to piano." You're getting a live feed. You're like, "Put your phone down and watch it."
Yeah.
Nick Offerman is adorable because I think this is when he got on the piano and was very sad and did a Linda Ronstadt song. I then did a swear.
Hmm.
I'm already in bits with these two. I then didn't message you for 20 minutes, and it was just, I think his name's Tobias from Arrested Development, and the gif is sobbing uncontrollably.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. You messaged me strawberries, which was an adorable moment.
I
And
thought
I
that was
said,
where you were up to.
oh no, because that was the point. Because I'd heard that because you mentioned. Oh yeah, you say it in a second. I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
I said no. Bill in his suit from the boutique because he got all dressed up for Frank. And you went, oh, I love his little strawberry giggle, which I do
Yeah.
love, but I'd heard it a lot in Parks and Rec recently because I told you I've been binging it.
Yeah,
Oh, great. Bill's going with him because obviously Frank has decided he's done and he's happy. and you messaged me, enough to kill a horse.
Mm-hmm.
But then I said, but not enough for Ron effing Swanson. Bill's note to Frank becomes Bill's note to Joel. You effing what? I am not ready. And then it's like pre-workout Chris Pratt, ugly crying. Because I was just done. That was stunning. It was one of my favorite. Like it went in a completely different direction. I've seen as well a quick breakdown of like the episode where Neil Druckmann's talking about we only deviated where we thought it would be better.
All right, okay.
And like they're interviewing Murray Bartlett, they're interviewing Nick Offerman. It was only a quick clip. It was like 4 minutes, the whole thing. Like they're interviewing Craig Mazin, they're interviewing, I think, the director of the episode as well. And I'd be really interested to watch like 20 minutes of them just talking about it. It was phenomenal. I loved every second of that one. It was funny, it was sad, it was dramatic, and it wound up a lot of horrible people. So what is not to love about episode 3?
Yeah, just to mention the director again, because I mentioned him last week in the video. So it's Peter Hoare who did It's a Sin. He directed some It's a Sin episodes. And I thought, again, quite an apt choice to tackle that kind of relationship. But you are right, it has annoyed people, and I'm glad it's annoyed people.
Yeah. If it's annoyed you, stop listening. We don't like you.
No,
we think
they're all reviewing, bombing it on IMDb and all that nonsense.
And it's still being heralded as one of the greatest episodes of TV ever, which I love.
Yeah, just don't have time for it. Do not have time for that. It's really interesting because it's now I'm close to a month out now, I'd say, where since I watched the full thing, with the full series, and then what I'm doing is I'm watching it again at the weekend to make my notes for these videos, and then I'm watching it again on the Monday night after we've recorded, after we've done all this with Amy. So Amy was just like, she loved Bill. She was like, Bill's my spirit animal. And then the minute that she let Frank in, she was like, come on, Bill, you're supposed to know better than that. You know, you don't let these people in. And then Matthew, my brother-in-law, who I mentioned in the last one that we did, he sent me a video of my sister-in-law crying. And then I said, oh, we've just finished it. And he said, the episode of the series. He said, episode, I'm doing it with them each week, blah, blah, blah. He said, love the story about them, very different to the game. And in a little way, we're still hoping that Bill might be alive. So when the bloater comes, we get to see Joel upside down. Don't tell me if it happens. I just hope it does. And Bill doesn't go out all soft. And I said, I'll keep it zipped. And then he said, same time next week. And I said, of course. So I'd imagine I'm going to get another text tonight after they've watched tonight's episode or today's episode. Which it was interesting going into episode 4 because of the groundswell of support that came out for episode 3. And I just thought, I can't imagine that people are going to have the same reaction.
No.
Or I wonder if like people are sort of going to go, oh, well, that's a bit of a sort of come down after last week. But
possibly, but I think last week was such a deviation. Like this was very much back at it. It was very much like it was on par with episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It was very much like throughout the general vibe for the whole thing for me was that, again, absolute sweet spot of getting the lines from the original and coming up with the new stuff.
Yeah.
And like feeding that in. It was just like the way they replicate certain moments was great. And then the way they introduce new moments, also great. It was just back in track. And you can see them you can see Ellie breaking through really slowly, and I am enjoying it. So yeah, I think I was like, I get what you mean. It is a natural reaction to an episode like what we had, but it's still fantastic.
In terms of deviations, I'll say this, and I won't go too much into it. There are 3 deviations. We've had the Bill and Frank deviation. I think naturally everyone is fully aware that Left Behind is going to be its own deviation.
Yeah.
next week as we talk this episode 5, that's a deviation.
Okay.
Which I think for those people who've played the game are probably going to be more aware of where it's going to go after the end of this episode.
Mm.
But we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. So then, episode 4. I mean, Ellie's got a gun.
Ellie's got a gun.
Ellie's got a gun.
She's weirdly versed in it as well, because I get that Americans, have guns from the womb,
Yeah.
but like you've got your simple gun, like you've got the guns you see a lot, like revolvers and shotguns, and that's because they're pretty user friendly. They're pretty easy to use. She's got like a proper magazine held slide release bit. That's a complicated bit of kit for someone who's never used one before, and she doesn't quite know her way around it, as we see, but
Yeah.
she certainly knows her way around it more than I know my way around it.
I would hope so. The one thing that I just had to write down. So we've got Ellie's joke book,
Yes,
which is
I love the porn book.
a thing that happens in the game. And it's actually an achievement if you manage to listen to all of Ellie's jokes from the joke book. And after Joe's siphoned some gas and all that kind of stuff.
And can't explain what siphoning is, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the reaction again from this that I've seen a little bit of towards the reaction of the Bill and Frank episode, where people were going, I can't believe they made Bill gay. And it's like, they've just done the magazine scene.
Yeah.
Which is exactly as it is in the game, where Ellie goes, oh my God, look at that thing. How does he walk around with that thing? And then does why are these pages stuck together?
I will, to nitpick as well, that's the first time I thought, oh, Ashley did that a lot better.
Okay.
I thought Ashley did that whole hold your horses, I just want to see what the fuss is about.
Yeah.
That whole line was way better when she did it. I thought Bella was just a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
When she did it, but like it's fine. She, like the whole point is, and you can tell as well, she was told not to play the games.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
It is weird as well how many like actual you don't doubt
There's
it.
so much stuff that you do think surely she's seen that bit. Yeah.
But there's so much stuff like that where it's like, no, she's taking it in her own. I mean, the big glaring one is because obviously it's already been renewed for season 2, and I think she tagged Pedro Pascal in like a yes, we go again, and the whole internet was like, who's gonna tell her?
like the thing is, right, at the minute I'm back on part 2. I'm playing part 2, and I've never been more conscious of Amy coming in and out of the front room while I'm playing the game.
You don't want the spoilers.
Because I don't know if she does know, and I don't want her to know. And then there's been like lines of dialogue where like they're almost still referring to him as like so part of me is just like, I mean, that's going to be a brutal episode when that happens.
I know.
But there's a lot where like now that I'm playing through part 2 again, I'm sort of going, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I've just got to the point where they've got Dina to the Pinnacle, the theater in Seattle.
That's literally where I dropped off as well. By the way, in my standard watching a playthrough of the game, because I'm too chicken to play it myself because it's a good horror game.
But I keep saying this, and I'm probably going to keep saying it forever. The thing I cannot wait to see is how they do the Seraphites, because they are going to be absolutely terrifying. But yeah, so back to this. I love, and I keep saying this as well, like Joel, when they go camping, they sleep in a wood. Joel's not worried about infected, he's worried about people. And I think the thing that comes out more in this is the horror of the people. It's the horror of the desperate people who Joel is more concerned with them and what they can do, and basically the fact that they can still use the brain rather than infected.
I guess it's one of them, like, I think every zombie media ultimately delves into that, though, don't they?
Yeah.
And that, for me, that actually felt a little spelled out compared to what I remember from the game. Like, from what I remember in the game, like a key scene that we see later is that first real hint, man is the
Yeah.
monster.
There's no
Whereas it
bit in
kind
the
of spells it
game.
out a bit
Yeah,
here.
there's no bit in the game where this happens, where they're in the woods, sleeping, and
Mm,
he sort of says like, "Oh, I'm concerned," and she says, "Oh, you think about infected," and he says, "No, I think about people." Like
mm.
that's not. It isn't that explicit. You're right, but
Do you
then
think though it was a conscious effort then, because there wasn't a single visible infected in the entire episode?
yeah, possibly because I do think that like again, this will happen the further down we get. There's still some key characters that Ellie specifically is going to meet along the
Mm.
way. David being one of them, and it's more to do with it's
I'm
more to do
excited for
with
David.
I wouldn't be. It's,
Oh.
it's more not in a bad way, in
Mm.
a kind of like you absolute greasy slime ball.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, and it's more to do with the horror of the people, I think,
Mm.
and again, it's building that up because that bit where we get to the Raiders, I've kind of skipped forward a little bit, but the sort of like again because I played it before I watched the series, you're driving along, and then that guy comes out and he says, "Stop, help me," and Ellie's like, "Are we going to stop?" And Joel just goes, "No, put your
Nope.
seatbelt on," and he's like, "I've been on both sides of it, uh,
Yeah, that's straight from the game, and that was really well
yeah,
replicated as well.
yeah,
I did wonder as well, like in the shootout that follows that, I could imagine you thinking, like, because I've obviously not played the games,
yeah."
and this being one of the reasons. Did you have Joel like just popping shots off and thinking, "Oh, I'm wincing there because of the ammo count just going down"? Because that
Yeah.
rifle ammo, I imagine, is not easy to come by.
It's not. You've got to scavenge for everything you've got.
You won't throw in any bricks at them, was imagine. I would genuinely respect it if it became like a thing of guys running at Joel and he's just like hurling bricks at them from around
No,
corners and stuff like that.
no. Um, I liked just before that bit, the development of Tommy's backstory. So we get a little bit more about Tommy. Clearly Joel's on his way to try and find him. The links to the Fireflies, all that kind of stuff. They see the empty QZ. There's no Fedra. That place has just completely been usurped. Um, as we find out by what they refer to as the collaborators. Now I don't remember them mentioning the collaborators by that name in the game. I think they
No.
were more just raiders. But that's because this Kathleen character, played by Melanie Linsky, isn't in the
Mm,
games. This is a
yeah.
whole new character.
I
Um,
loved how completely out of her depth she seemed.
well, this is the thing. When I first watched it, I was a bit like, you seem really softly sort of spoken and
Yeah.
walking around. And like, I don't feel like I would take you seriously. But then she is quite cold and callous in the things that she does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting, like you are right. She does seem out of her depth, but I like she's got to where she is through some sort of brute strength. Well, not brute strength,
Mm,
but brutality, I suppose.
yeah.
Um,
I really like the touch as well of. I mean, they didn't have. I shot the hell out of that guy, which was a line I did miss,
yeah.
but I liked that he was alive afterwards.
Yeah, so when Ellie saves Joel,
Yeah,
yeah,
when Ellie saves
yeah.
Joel and he's like trying to reason with them, and it's very much, oh, he's just a person, and the entire time that Joel is just like, nah, you're dead,
Yeah.
and he's like, Ellie, go in the other room.
Like, there's not a chance that I'm leaving this guy to
Mm,
walk or squirm away or whatever it is that he does. Um, because and you can see the sort of experience in his face where he's just like,
yeah.
need to go in the other room because this is going to happen,
Mm,
regardless. But it's going to be better. Like, there's a lot in this episode where he's trying to shield her just from how young she is, like about
yeah.
like teaching her how to use a gun, and he's just like, you shouldn't have to. Like,
Mm.
the fact that
But that came
um,
after the realization that that wasn't actually the first time she'd had to kill
yeah,
someone.
yeah. Because he kind of he unwittingly sort of goes along with it, and then she says, "What makes you think that was the first time?" And then at that point,
Yeah.
it's like, right, well, I'll teach you how to use it properly then.
Mm.
Yeah. I did think Bella looks so young in this episode. There were
Yeah,
times
this
where I
hints
saw
of it,
her and I
haven't they?
thought,
Yeah.
you look really, really young. And I don't know if I'm assuming there's not some like de-aging thing that's gone on. I would imagine it's more of a makeup thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And the way she's dressed, I imagine.
yeah, yeah.
Like it looks like she's in clothes that are slightly too big.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're deliberately
She's very
ill-fitted.
baby faced, but I think naturally she's very baby faced anyway.
Mm.
She's 19 in real life, and
Yeah, because
I
there was
think
stories about, oh, will she need recasting for like part
no,
two?
I honestly think they'll leave it as is, and I think maybe if they give it a couple of years, because the one thing that I've been thinking about, because weirdly there's this sort of like correlation between the two, with Happy Valley, which finished yesterday as we
Mm.
record this, they waited 6 years between season 2 and season 3 because they wanted the kid who played Ryan to grow up and be
Oh, was
50.
that the same actor?
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
So, but then part of me is like, I don't want to wait 5 years for part 2. I don't want to wait 5 years. I don't
Well,
want to
you
wait.
won't have to
Do
because
it.
Bella
But
Ramsey's already 19.
yeah, so I think that with a little bit, maybe make up the other way, if that's what
Yeah.
they're doing, I think the
And
fine.
you give it like you do what you do in the game. She's covered in scars in the second game as well, and that
Yeah.
ages a
I
bit.
mean,
And
if
she
I
just
did that, like you can see the difference there. Well, this is like
yeah.
a weatherman, right? There's a very vast difference between those two games, and like just playing part
Send her
two.
to the gym for a bit to broaden out her shoulders.
Yeah,
Grow her
yeah.
hair out a little bit. Grow her hair slightly differently. Maybe
Get
have
the
it in more.
tattoos on her arm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some scarring and stuff like that should be fine.
yeah. Um, so I've already mentioned Kathleen. Now they're looking for Henry, and again, Henry at this point is probably another trigger for people who played the game to go, "Oh, this is Sam and Henry. This is what they're
Yeah.
looking into." One person to mention again, original character Perry, who's played by Jeffrey Pace. Now he's the big bearded guy with a massive machine gun.
Yeah.
That's the OG Tommy that they had to get in. So he's the guy who originally played Tommy in the first Last of Us game.
Oh, it's nice to
And
see him coming
it's
back.
nice that they've got him back in, because we will see Troy Baker later on. But
Oh my God, is he David?
no, thank God he's not.
Oh, he'd have been so good as David. Because they got
He's
no North as David, so it's like go from one OG voice acting king to the other.
he's with David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it'll pop up when we get to that point. I really like, and I am aware that I've kind of just glossed over Henry and Sam for the time being. But I suppose they are on the periphery of this episode.
I feel dumb as well because I didn't even clock the names until later.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Like that didn't occur to me, like for whatever reason, until I was like, oh yeah.
that bit where Jeffrey takes Kathleen and says, "Come here, you need to have a look at this," and it's just like, what's under that rubble? What's under? What's under there?
I wonder what the only thing possible is.
What
that could
might we be
all
seeing in episode 5?
I did think as well because I had the theory, especially based on because a lot of the advertising for it is kind of fake screenshots and stuff, and you see like Joel and Ellie stood in a pipe, and there's a bloater in the background, and then you click on it, and it shows clips from the show in the upcoming episode, and then not that. So I was like, oh, is the bloater going to be some kind of like weird final boss before Joel drops Ellie off at the fire? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to get one bloater sequence effectively before? But I mean, I guess it does kind of make sense. The foundations of what's her name?
Kathleen.
Yeah, the foundations of Kathleen's weird Soviet communist ideology, weird analogy, kind of crumbles around her because of the infection. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was very much, she seemed so meek, and it was like she was desperate. It's all Henry. It's like, no, you just don't have a handle of this, do you?
Yeah.
You know, and like OG Tommy can't save you here. This is
next week is a very interesting episode because of, I would say, more than last 20 minutes because of things that happen. And, we can talk about more about that next week. Although, actually, the thing that I'm confused with is they're saying that on Friday, from 9 o'clock in America, you can stream episode 5 on HBO Max.
Oh, does that mean it'll be on Now TV?
No, because I went on the listing and they're still showing it at the normal time that they would show it.
Couch tuner.
But I'm like, part of me's like, does that mean that I can do my episode early? Can I talk about it earlier than I'm supposedly allowed to
I
talk?
mean, that'd be great as well if we could record on Saturday because Georgia's away on Saturday. Mind you, the Saturday after that, I'm going to a 21st.
Oh,
I know.
Are you still that young that you know people who are 21?
It's all the acting people, isn't it? We're a
them
wide
people.
variety of
It's
ages.
all those people.
So the lad who's playing Tobias in our Sweeney Todd is turning 21. He wasn't alive for 9/11, to put it into context.
Oh my!
I know, and he's my friend.
That's frightening.
I know.
That is frightening.
Because he always likes to say, it's like, oh, do you remember where you were? And he's like, haha, no.
Oh no. Oh no. Right. Well, actually, you know what? I think stuff it. I think we should. I think we should just do it on Saturday. If you can figure it out, and I'm not gonna, I don't know, like promote any ill-gotten gains on this channel, but I'll watch my screener again. Which, to be fair, actually, I mean, I am looking forward to seeing this one because this is the screener where I start getting the unfinished visual effects. So I would like to see it proper done. But if it's out on HBO Max, surely that means that we can talk about it.
I'll have a look as well.
Yeah, surely.
And it's just one of those. Just be a grown up about it. You don't have to consume this media until you're ready. There's plenty of podcasts that I didn't listen to.
I mean, we say spoilers. We
do say spoilers. It's literally, and even if we didn't say spoilers, I'm pretty sure that the title is episode blank breakdown.
It's in the title and it's in red on my graphic. So
yeah. So if you get annoyed having listened to one of these in podcast land, and after all of that, you are basically no better than those parents who who buy their kids Grand Theft Auto and then complain that video games are too violent. It's like, you didn't do your job, so get stuffed.
Exactly. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Joel's obviously mentioned he's been on both sides. Now, the one that I'm sort of foreseeing this as a conversation that I'm going to end up having with Amy tonight. The line of dialogue where he says, "I'm 56 years old, you little Now, we know that 2003, Joel was 36. We're 20 years on, so he's going to be 56.
Exactly.
Pedro Pascal doesn't look like a 56-year-old, but that's okay.
I think
it's passable. You can
it's possible. I mean, he's in a very weird that in such a harsh environment he doesn't look 90, I guess. But
yeah,
if he's being forced to kind of physically take care of himself and keep himself fit, I think you could buy him as a 56-year-old. Playing age is weird.
Having said that, back to Happy Valley, we are supposed to believe that Sarah Lancashire's 60.
I mean, I vaguely believe that. I don't know how old
I wouldn't say, but I mean, I think it's a young 60, isn't it? You wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's just because Sarah Lancashire is one of the most underrated actors of the 21st century.
I mean, have you seen Happy Valley?
I've not been watching it. Georgia has.
Right. So
I know
ask Georgia when you have a conversation with Georgia
how old she thinks.
The writing in the kitchen scene.
Oh no, I've heard about the kitchen scene. I don't know what it is, but I've heard that the kitchen scene is crazy.
Just for 24 hours where we've watched the season finale of Happy Valley, and then I'm going to watch this episode afterwards. Just television, man. Come on. And I'm sorry, I know it's called Farrand on Film, but it's not alliterative if I do Farrand on TV. So it's Farrand on Film adjacent television, to borrow something from Matt Kermode and Simon Mayo.
Farrand, we could have Ball on the Box for the TV episodes if you wanted.
There you go, Ball on the Box. This is where we are. Ball on the Box.
That doesn't sound
It's
dodgy in
gonna
any
be
way,
the on.
shape,
It's
or
gonna be the on brand. We need to like get everybody else in, like Holly on Hollywood. Oh, there you go. When she's done with the
Holly
maternity
on
leave.
Hollywood.
Holly on Hollywood.
Hollywood Matthias.
There you go. There you go. Now trying to think of what Sam can do. I don't know. Mana Cherry on Muppets. You can go back and watch all the Muppets.
Martial arts man
shows.
and cherry.
There you go. Oh my god, we're having a full like
Ah,
branch
there we
out
go.
here.
We're just naming. We've tangented here
We have
massively.
definitely. So they share a nice little joke before bed.
That
Um,
was a really nice touch. I thought that was
it
clever.
was such a lovely moment.
I liked the build up as well of he hated them all at first, and then he like kind of begrudgingly answered the scarecrow
He's
one.
like, I know this.
And he
one.
you can tell he wants to laugh, but he doesn't. And then running in your jeans, he actually laughs, and it's just like, yeah.
Oh god, yeah. And then they have a nice little chuckle, a really believable, like
Yeah, that felt real, didn't it?
yeah, yeah. And then they wake up to see guns pointed at them.
By who,
Uh,
Adam?
oh, that's Sam and Henry.
It's Sam and Henry, unless
Sam
we're
and
just assuming it's
Henry.
Sam and Henry because they're black characters. But
Adam actually knows that it's Sam. And
yeah,
Henry.
let's be real, it is Sam and Henry.
Yeah. They have a very interesting arc. They have a very interesting story. Slight change from the game, which you'll find out next week. Yeah, but interesting. Interesting. It's a good episode next week. There's a lot
They've
going
all
on.
been knocking.
They are. Oh,
I
they
was a
are.
little
Yeah.
bit sad about the lack of a cold open, I guess.
Well,
But
that didn't happen with Bill and Frank.
it technically did because you started with Joel and
Oh,
Ellie,
right. Okay.
and then it transitioned. But
Yeah.
I see your point. You didn't see like a flashback to
Yeah.
the 2000s or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Which I
yeah,
suppose, like, I think people kind of stopped now referring it to the show with the great cold opens after the two, and then it was like, oh, there's no more. Like,
it's such a shame. Like, it was really good. I mean, I can't, like, other than them saying at the beginning that it like something was going on in the Philippines, was there any reason to set the second one in Jakarta beyond that, or
I
because it was
suppose it gives it
nice?
scale, doesn't it? It gives it
It
a
does
sort
give
of
it that
global,
scale. Like, I don't know whether you could have done with one or two, like not the same one beat for beat, I admit, but like one in, I don't know, Norway.
You wait for that episode, don't you, where they're going to do, like, I don't know, some guy who's coughing up and then notices a tendril, gets on a
Yeah.
plane, and it's like, oh yeah, he's going to America. He's getting off the plane in Seattle or whatever.
Mm.
Oh,
And you could even tie it into like, I know I've got symptoms, but it's my right to travel.
Oh, there you go.
I don't need to
I
use
don't wear a mask. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Did you end up watching that incredibly nerdy cordyceps video I sent you?
No, but I will do actually.
Because it's for those in podcast land. So there's a guy on YouTube called Simon Whistler, and he has about 15 channels that he narrates for, and they're all really interesting, like slices of history, slices of science, slices of like slightly darker stuff. And this one's from the channel called Into the Shadows, and they deal with quite macabre stuff. And he does like a breakdown of the cordyceps. And my favorite thing in there, and I'd be really like, I doubt it will go this way because I think it'd be too tricky, but I'd love to see it. Is they talk about the idea that actually the cordyceps don't take over your brain in the way that we're led to believe. They take over your muscles. So you're basically still fully conscious right up until the moment it decides to eat your brain. And it tends not to eat your brain because it can't use impulses itself.
Right, okay.
It's really complicated, but imagine if these infected were still like unable to speak, unable to talk, unable to communicate, unable to do anything of their own volition, but they could see everything and they were like attacking because the mushroom was making them do it. Like that would add a whole new level of body horror to this, and that would fit way, like, especially with they seem to be pushing that narrative a bit of like Ellie being like, "Oh, have you ever killed one of them? Does it make you feel bad knowing they were once human?" And it's like, well, actually, they still are. Like right up until that moment that they die, they are fully conscious of what they're doing, but they literally can't do anything about it.
That's bizarre. That's so
Yeah.
bizarre. But then there was I was watching. I don't know if I was. No, I wasn't. I'd gone from a PlayStation to the TV, and as I sort of flicked over, it was on Nothing to Declare. You know, the sort of Australian
Oh
border
yeah.
control program. And there was a guy trying to get stuff into the country, and they were like, "No, no, you can't have these. These are non-declarable items." Da, da, da. And then I swear to God, I'm sat there, and this woman goes, "You've got cordyceps. You can't bring cordyceps in." And I was like, "What? Like, what? What?
They're
Is
used for
this a
health
weird
medicine.
crossover?"
Yeah, they're used for like health benefits in real life as well. And before you panic, in the tens of thousands of years that cordyceps have been around, they've barely got onto evolving to infect other insects, let alone making
But
the
the
jump to
planet's
mammals.
getting warmer.
It is getting warmer, Adam, but like once you see like a shrew infected by cordyceps, then I'll be a bit worried.
Okay. Okay.
But I also still maintain that notion of we can't even make the medicines for them. That's not true, John Hannah. Antifungal cream is a thing. Just whack
Just
some
get your
show on their
athlete's
head.
foot on.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like that
like,
bit in you seen Evolution where they go,
yes.
"Oh, the key ingredient is head and shoulders," so they pump it into a bloody fire truck. It's just gonna be like a lot of athlete's foot cream in a fire truck.
Yeah, just spraying it around on the infected.
Oh, we cleared them out. It's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. She said
Um,
bomb. All we needed was a load of cream.
yeah,
Like,
we just needed a podiatrist with a load of
yeah,
show. You'd have been
there you
fine.
go. Oh, right. So I enjoyed it, because I'm enjoying the series anyway. Well, I have
I'm
enjoyed
really
it.
loving the series. This could easily, especially with its Chernobyl vibe, this could easily have sneaked or snuck, whichever word you want to go for, because they're both valid. This could easily sneak its way into my top 10 of
Yeah.
all time based on how it's going. It's just so well made.
I just know that I'm gonna buy the box set when the box set comes out because I want this on 4K. I just want it in a nice, neat little package that I can just keep watching it. Maybe in a nice steel book, something like that. I just keep waiting for them to announce it, but because it's HBO, they like to get them all out first.
Yeah.
Do it that way. Because then part of me keeps doing that thing of going like, I wonder if they would actually sell it on Blu-ray. But then I keep thinking, well, yeah, because you can get like Chernobyl and you can get Watchmen and all the ones that they do and all that. Not like you can get Succession, can you, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll get it. Right, next week then, Sam and Henry, and a very interesting, I would say, last 20 minutes. Some stuff goes down and some stuff hits the fan. But yeah, it's good.
Joel's going to go full psycho, just murder them all.
Good. Yeah. Anything you want to say, Ollie, before we wrap it up?
I think we've covered it quite well, to be
Yeah.
honest. I just managed to proclaim my own dying love for Bill and Frank. That was the main thing I wanted to say. So
I thought I'd give you the space. I knew you
yeah.
needed it. I'm looking to the small print whether or not I can actually do something before next Monday. Because I get the feeling that they might be a bit like, oh no, you gotta wait until it's out on Sky because you
Well, you could always release it on Monday.
Oh, we could record it before then, couldn't we? That's a shout. That's a shout. We could do that. Well, either way, people, you're going to see it at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Well,
I will
yourselves.
just magic how to see it out of the atmosphere. So don't worry about me.
I do not condone anything that he chooses to do. But, people do things. Right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And we will see you next week for episode 5.
Bye. Bye.